Hello ITPC, this is Potter Piper and Jilly. Jilly, you want to turn around and say hi? He's looking out his TV. He's either looking for dogs or squirrels. He's such an old man. He barks, and if he does, he's going to scare the Jesus out of me. He loves to bark at him. And I always imagine him as some old man going, "Get off of my lawn!" God bless him. But this video is a VR to the occasional clay piper. Now, I don't know how active he is in the community commenting. And he made a video, and he said he hadn't made one in 111 days. And this was probably a good week ago. And I actually, honestly, totally forgot that I was subbed to him. But he said he hadn't made one in, 111 days. What are we looking at? 3 months? Almost 4. So I don't know how well people know. But I'm smoking a EMC custom cob. And it's a wonderful smoke. It really is. There's a beautiful, I just looked up this word of what this is. Shoot. EMC's on Instagram. He really does wonderful work. And it's a beautiful, I just wanted I didn't want a long smoke. It's going to be evening. I'm going to eat dinner. Well, not eat dinner. I'm going to start it in about an hour. But he asked us to do a VR on our grandparents. And I wish I would remember the stories. Okay, I got to keep going in line. The custom cob, what's in it is B. Frog's Mountain of Madness. And this is a heavy Latakia blend. 60, it's a Ken Byron Ventures. 60% Latakia with Condimental Virginias and Turkish Orientals. Oh, it's good stuff. The smell is better than the smoke. Oh, that's a beautiful smell. It's even better than the smoke itself. You got this kind of the Swedish tang from the Orientals with the Virginia, and then the Latakia gives the smokiness. Oh, that's beautiful. It really is beautiful. All right, so VR to the grandparents. My grandparents are German on one side, Irish on the other side, and they're both very they were, let me rephrase that, very stereotypical of those ethnicities, at least in this country. The Irish side, drinkers. They love to have a party. The German side, very, very German. They might have like a beer. They didn't go too much off on the stray. Smaller family on the German side. Get together as family. I enjoyed my grandparents on both sides. I really did. I could just tell tons of stories, which I wish I'd remember these things. And I was trying to think of stories on each side. My grandfather, I could tell, his last name was Riley, and he really lived the life of Riley. I could tell some stories, but I'd have to preface them a lot because they dealt with drinking and that, and I'd have to preface them before I say anything. Well, I will tell a story of drinking. So this is my grandparents on my mother's side, the Irish side. And I'm the oldest of the cousins. I don't have siblings. And I remember we were at my grandparents' house. And my grandfather, businessman to the nth degree, always ran his own small business. So we were over there as family, and it was myself and one of my younger cousins, a female. I'm going to take a guess. I was 12, 13. She would have been like 6 to 8. And this is when Crystal Light came about. It was like one of the first, the lemonade. It was like the first time you had like a diet. Crystal Light. It was only lemonade at that time. So the family was all over there. So myself and my cousin, we were in the kitchen. And we pulled out, one of those big plastic pitchers. And looked in and said, oh, it's lemonade. Wonderful. So I poured a big glass for myself and my cousin. And we drank this lemonade, and it was good. We enjoyed it. We were feeling good. Well, this was so long ago, but apparently one of the aunts came in, my aunt, and noticed that we were feeling pretty good. And you might be catching what happened. And they're wondering why we're feeling so good as kids. So my aunt smelt the Crystal Light lemonade. Well, my grandfather apparently puts vodka in his Crystal Light lemonade. And so my aunt, realizing what happened, told the other aunts, and apparently talked to Grandpa and said to him, what did you put in this lemonade? My grandfather, Grandpa Riley, realizing that someone drank his special lemonade, he got all mad. Who the hell drank my lemonade, blah, blah, blah. Well, apparently the aunts got on him and said, your grandkids. And then him realizing what happened, had a kind of humble pie and realized he was in trouble because 2 of his grandkids were a little. Oh, there's so many stories with that one. But I never forgot that as a kid, being a little loopy, and he got in trouble for that. God bless him. The German side, the story that comes to mind, my grandmother, Grandma Lehnert, they lived in a not a retirement home, no, a community for 55 and older, but it was massive. And she liked to go to the social functions that they would have. And my grandpa Leonard, German, he didn't like to go. So I'd go down and visit. Again, 12 years old, 13. She would bring me along. And, grandpas back then, your ethnicity, you defined yourself as of that. German, Irish, Italian, Jewish. So I remember one time, my grandmother brought me to one of the social functions. Well, there's 2 different ones. One, I'm going to tell you. One brought me to the social function. So we go. She's showing me off as her grandchild. We're sitting, it was a social function, so there were a lot of different tables. And my grandmother did not have, on my this would be my father's side, didn't have an inside voice. So she's telling me, she's going, now this is a Jewish social group. Now we're Gentiles, but that's okay. They allow us to be here, even though they're Jewish. They're okay that we're Gentiles. And even at 12, I'm thinking, Grandma, we don't talk like that. We don't say stuff like that. I'm thinking this. But that's how the older people were. She wasn't saying anything mean. It's just that's how they talked. I remember one time we went to, it was a social group. I didn't pack this well. I did it very quickly. And it was a Gentile group. So she's like, it's almost the same exact thing, just flip it. Now she's like, now we're Gentiles. This is a Gentile group, but we allow Jewish people to come here. There's some Jewish people here. And she probably pointed out, that's Jewish, he's Jewish right there. But it's okay. We allow the Jewish people to come to our Gentile group. And again, I'm thinking, Grandma, you can't say that. And this is going back a lot of years, 30 years now, or maybe 40 actually. Oh, they were so funny. I love my grandparents. Oh, there's so many stories that I could tell. I'll say this. On both sides, I grew up in taverns. I'm very comfortable in bars, taverns. I'm not, there's certain bars, but on my Irish side, my grandfather owned a manufacturing plant. And so my mother worked there, my uncles worked there. So a lot of times after school, I'd go to the plant at 3 o'clock. They stopped at 5. And after, we'd all go down to the Rusty Nail, it was called, and it was a tavern. And the kid, I played darts. They'd have something to drink and eat for like an hour or two. And it was never seen as seedy. It's just, on that side, grew up with going to taverns as a kid. I enjoyed it. It was kind of a family thing. On my father's side, the German side, a lot of times they're from Wisconsin, the German side. Actually, the Irish side's from Rhode Island, very Irish. German side, Wisconsin. That's where the Lutheran part comes from, the German side. So every Friday when we were in Wisconsin, we go to fish fry. Now they're Lutherans and they're Catholic, but everybody ate fish on Friday. It's just the way it was. So we'd go to the local tavern in Wisconsin, and you walk through the bar part, you go to the tavern in the back, and they had local pike that they'd catch that day, or the day before, who knows, and we had fish fries on the Friday. So even on the German side, we ate in a tavern. It's what you did. So to this day, I'm very comfortable in a bar. Actually, I enjoy it because it harkens back to my time as a kid. So I want to thank the Occasional Claypiper for the VR for grandparents. I enjoyed my grandparents a lot. Hopefully over time I can remember. There's so many stories that I could say of my grandparents. I enjoyed them. I enjoyed them quite a bit. So thank you for this VR. Check out the Occasional Claypiper. I'd have to, if I can know how to put it in the bucket, as they say, his channel, I will. But a VR to my grandparents. I loved them. I mean, I still love them, but they're past. Piper, Jilly, God bless.